Greetings and welcome. Yes, been a while since I've done one like this with this shakiness. This is just an attempt just to make it a bit more, not professional, because this isn't the way this keeps cutting in now, because it's trying to detect me where I am, you see, like that. So you might see snippets of the bits behind me. Um, but yeah, it's just to make it a bit more, what I would want from a video I was going to watch of someone else's channel if they were going to do something like this, I suppose, in some ways. Unless you've got something awesome behind you, a big model collection or what, a big layout or what have you. So, yes, a channel update, me update, a recipe update. So, current projects are the Fuga Magister, Gloucester Gladiator or Hawker Hurricane, the High Speed Tractor, the Titanic. Flipping heck, let's see the Dambuster Lancaster, I haven't already mentioned that. A 32 scale Spitfire, a P47, a P51. Yeah, that's just about all of them. So, a lot of projects on the go. Something I'm just going to get out quickly. I'm going to tear the plaster off very quickly for you all. And this is as far as I'm going. I'm not. I just don't want to make a fuss. Basically, I don't want to do the big, I'm leaving! Oh, thou shalt all feel pity for me and declare your pity for me in the comments below. No, been there, done that, don't want it. Yeah, me and Railways have separated, parted ways. Nothing bad's happened. It's just something I've just come to the conclusion. That's what I want to do. It's best for me. So anyway, moving on. We can see I've got a nice new background here. So I'm just going to take you through where the pictures were taken. I thought that'd be kind of cool because I really enjoyed putting this together because it was sort of like a good look back at the year. So we'll start wherever this starts. So Doggo here. So we'll go for Doggo here. We'll go for the Bren carrier here, the universal carrier here. I'm still trying to avoid calling it a Bren carrier, calling it the wrong thing. It's not a Bren gun carrier, it is a universal carrier. Just happens to have a Bren gun in it. Actually, does that one have a Bren in it? I don't think it does actually. No, it's got a 30 cal in the front, that one, for that firing. Up here we have the tractor part for the Dragon Wagon. That's the first time I've ever seen one of those. And those were all taken at the same place, so we'll link them together. So that is at the Victory Show at Cosby last year. It's the first time I'd been, and I am fully intending to attend again this year. That was fantastic. Now the easy one is here, 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 and here, and here. All Duxford. Different air shows throughout the year. Those two were taken at the same visit with David and Jack Bird, good friend and his son. American Air Show was this Spitfire here, same as this P51 here. The Battle Britain Air Show was this one. And this was the season finale air show here, and that was the evening air display. On the day we watched Lancaster last year, so for those who don't know, there was a fantastic documentary film called Spitfire, released a few years ago, 2018, I want to say. And last year they released it, Lancaster. Really very well worth a watch. Very different tone to Spitfire, very much more reflective, contemplative than the more celebratory aspect of Spitfire. Very more suiting to the role of the bomber in wartime. We watched it in Woodall Spa. It's actually on the day of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee fly past event, so yeah, it takes me back a bit. That was that day. The Lancaster had returned. It did the fly past London. I believe it went to Bristol, someone said. When we were there, it was going to Bristol to do something. And it had also come back whilst we were watching the film. We went pop round to Kingsby and just managed to time it right. They were pulling it out of the hangar again. They started one of the engines for us. So that was then. So, East Kirkby Air Show. Is this one here? Just Jane and Nick61, the Lancaster there. Now, Newark is this one, and this one here. And these two were taken on a very special occasion. I made my newest chum in. Let's just get a web browser window open so I can get to Twitter so I can get all the names right. Oh, they've just given me the Twitter names. Yes, met with the new Trump, Greg, and Andy, his son Kenneth. And hang on, let's just try and see if anyone's actually put there. Kevin, Kenneth, Greg, and Andy. They'd been to the Ham Radio Festival next door, and we'd arranged to meet. Once they'd finished there, they arranged to meet at Newark. I went straight into Newark, and a firm and fantastic friendship, and one of the what I call the real turning points of my life last year to better things. Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I meant to have a meetup at Yeovilton towards the end of the year, but unfortunately, I was struck down with lurgy, so wasn't able to attend that. So that was a bit of a bummer, but we have plans for meetups this year, so already this month, in fact. So looking forward to that. And actually, that one there, we all are having a group picture in front of the Avro Shackleton at Newark, which is actually the aircraft we initially made contact over, I believe. So so that's very special there. And Greg actually took that photo. This photo of me in front of Gloucester Meteor Night Fighter there. Very proud we built those in Coventry. I'm talking of Coventry. The final picture is of the Midland Air Museum, actually from this year. So this is one of us is not like the other. This is actually from this year, from my visit last week Monday. And by the way, I can't believe that video's got 2.2k views at last looking. That is just ridiculous. It just proves to me that you can't plan ahead on what is going to be a popular video and what isn't. Yeah, that's insane. I just hope it transfers, because I purposely tried to give us minimal. I think I even said in the video I was going to try and give a minimal overview, so it encourages you to go and visit to see it better. Though I don't want to address one thing on that front there, which is there's some comments I see about aircraft being left outside to rot and everything. A number of the aeroplanes, given it, I haven't been to the place since pre-pandemic to actually look around properly, beyond just going into the shop and the cafe, but pre-pandemic, a lot of exhibits have clearly been repainted recently, cleaned, looked after. Even there's been an F4 Phantom by the fence down the bottom for longer than I've been alive. I seem to think. I think it's mid-80s it went there or something like that. It's been there. Someone's even cleaned that now. It looks like someone gives a damn about it, you know. So that's really cool. So yes, it is a shame they're outside, and yes, the elements are going to be getting at them. But there is a very good team there of volunteers who do a very good job of looking after them as best they can. I mean, the Viscount that's there, I believe it's only, I think that literally got put together just before the pandemic started or something like that. So they've not had much time really to get to grips with working on it just yet. But yeah, so that's brilliant. So yes, that picture there. So on the back of that, comments on YouTube. Now I don't know if anyone watching this will know, but I've had some bad comments. Now my policy on bad comments, so we call them disrespectful comments, or comments I don't feel are appropriate. They give negative vibes off, negative waves. Let's go for the oddball one. Don't. If you want to comment, leave a comment, but don't hit me with them negative waves so early in the morning or late at night, depending on when I see them. All I'll do is I'll simply remove them. There'll be no counter argument. They'll just be removed. Well, some people call this toxic behaviour on YouTube. I call it a bit of damage control, because there are some things that do need to be said, and there are forums for those. There are areas, places you can go and say those things. But the big one for me at the minute, I find this one not disrespectful, depending on how it's worded, not disrespectful to me personally, but something that I feel very strongly about, and it's just something basic I'm getting bored of reading. So for those who don't know, there was an accident last year involving one of these. A flying fortress called Texas Raiders in the United States, an aircraft belonged to the Commemorative Air Force. There was a mid-air collision with the P-63 King Cobra, causing the loss of both aircraft and the crews flying them. This follows a number of years ago now. Actually, I think that was pre-pandemic. 909, the Collins Foundation B-17 crash was given a pleasure flight, but the two are, because they're both B-17 related, I think the two are being sort of linked together despite the years between them. But there's this frequency of comments I'm having to remove at the minute, which is saying about, mostly on the Battle Britain video, show video from last year, saying about, oh, well, I don't think it's right to fly these old aircraft anymore together like this. This is just courting danger. I just want to meet this head on. Number one, that comment does get removed because that's negative waves. If you look back to airshow footage from the UK, now bear in mind I'm only going to be getting UK footage if I do manage to get to the States for an airshow or to Europe mainland for an airshow. Brilliant. But as far as I'm aware, at this point in time, the facts before me as I know them, I'll only be able to get to UK airshows. Go and look at some from the 70s and 80s, or even the 90s or early 2000s. It's that recent. Compare that to my videos of these air shows, or the videos you may find of these air shows. Go on Planes TV or whatever and see some of the stuff there. You can see a marked difference, even without Shoreham being involved. You can see a marked difference between the shows of old and actually the ones we have now, in how the flying style is, how low they get, how close to the crowd they get, how close to each other they get. It's a very different kettle of fish. And in the States, I mean, yes, I will admit, I watched Oshkosh this year. I watched some video from Oshkosh, or some live feed from there. For those who don't know, this is the I think it's. Does it now claim the title of the biggest air show in the world, or it's at least it's one of the biggest in the world? It'll be the second if it isn't the first, to be honest. And it was giving me palpitations watching, and I just put it down to the viewpoint of the camera, dodgy camera angles. I was like, oh my god, that was a bit close, and that's something that. But there does seem to be a bit more of a different approach. I don't want to use words like gung ho or maverick style approaches, but those are the words in my head. But I'm not going to do that now. But comparative to how we do things here, when aircraft form up, so one of the big ones was the flying formation of the Spitfires and Hurricanes at the end, the Balbo formation of, and I still think it's incredible. We live in an age when that was 16 Merlin-powered Spitfires and 4 Hurricanes. I mean, you go back to the early 2000s, 2005, so we go around about a Memorial Flight Hangar, and we're told worldwide, including the 2 that the Memorial Flight had, there were only 5 Hurricanes worldwide, And now we live in a situation where we can have up to 6 without including the Memorial Flight, 4 there without including the Memorial Flight. There's 7 going to be at Duxford for their Hurricane exhibition, which I will be going to at some point, at least once, if not twice. Taking different people with me. And, that's just incredible. But anyway, they took off and they went out and they formed up. They went to their assigned altitudes, they formed up, and then they did a big loop round to come past in a straight fly past. Meanwhile, we're being entertained by an aircraft that's known as the Joker, and the Joker's job is to keep the crowd entertained, and it's usually a single aircraft, and he just does some aerobatics. And well before the main formation comes back in, that the Joker leaves. He gets out of there. It gets out of there. It leaves. It's out of the way. It's well out of the way. and then it's just a straight fly past of the aircraft as they come in. Very different. Now, to what I saw, I was sent the video with no warning. Actually, I could have done with a warning just to. By the way, this might be hard to watch or something like that. I'd have been sort of like expecting something bad to happen then. But anyway, it looked like the P-63 was joining the formation mid-fly past because the 17 was already over the threshold of the airfield when the P-63 came in. So, like I say, the air shows you'll be seeing from me, they're not organised in the same way, they're not managed in the same way. And I'm not saying that one way's right, one way's wrong, but a bit of common sense will tell you that the way I've just described with the Joker and forming up outside the airfield limits, and the way I've seen them form, but fighters will form up. One will circle, and the other one will join in the circle. So start out quite far out and then come in. It's done in what I would call quite a safe manner in what I've seen. Obviously, to truly get the full understanding of what happens at a US air show, I'd have to be there in person and see it myself. But basically, it just boils down to we do things very differently here. As far as I can see, and I don't want to entertain the fact that we may, even though it's not going to have any bearing on commenting, it's not going to cause them to stop flying heritage aircraft. Because that's something else that it's like frequent talk about. These airframes are 60, 70, 80, nearly 100 years old. In fact, Old Ward in Bedfordshire, they do fly aircraft from 1912. It's an original from 1912. And yes, these airplanes are very old, but they're not at the same time, because if they weren't maintained to a proper standard of airworthiness, they wouldn't be in the air. So they're not. It's not the last time a mechanic looked at it wasn't 100 years ago. So cut some slack there. It's the reason why one of those is not going to fly here, because they are incredibly complex aircraft and very, very dangerous. They were called the Frightening. I believe they lost quite a significant number in landing accidents alone. Go look that up. Good, beautiful aeroplane. But yeah. So yes, and of course there's the big thing. I mean, now more than ever, as a species, we are more acutely aware of the fuel. Fossil fuels are running out. We know this. So there will come a day where we have to stop flying these things anyway, because there just won't be the fuel to power them, so they can make a synthetic fuel that works just as well as what they currently use. So just for now, can we just enjoy experiencing what we can, what we're privileged enough to go and see and experience, in the safest possible manner they can be flown as well. But yes, as far as my YouTube channel is concerned, any comments of that is going to get removed, because, or if it's negative, what I feel is unfairly negative towards the museum, again, it get removed, because if the museum's, obviously, to do a video on the museum, I have to be there. Now, if you're criticising the RAF Museum for disposing assets without any public consultation or anything like that, then be my guest, just on the appropriate video. But talking about how the display has been organised and everything. I mean, I had one comment recently, which I did actually screenshot and sent to my mum to look at. Said this is I'll have to remember this when I'm organising Dux's next air show. It really made it sound like I was directly responsible for how the flying was being done. Directly for organising. It's like, hey, that would be a great job to have. I mean, it's a very stressful job, but it'd be a great job. I literally get to play with old airplanes all day, going, okay, your turn to fly now, or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so as a comment, just keep respectful. Now, to all those who have recently subscribed, thank you very much. I understand a lot of you are model railway enthusiasts. Up to the 21st of April, there's going to be the throwback video, which is a past stream usually, showing the trains. my trains, my Japanese trains, obviously the trains I got left, are going to go into storage now. To a day where I may feel I'm ready for another hobby to enter my life. I might choose that. The other hobby that's falling by the wayside is wargaming. I'm just going to focus on my aviation, my military interests. Work with myself rather than against myself, because I know that where my head is at the minute, I can't cope with too much. There's too much trying to go on. I used to be able to do all these things, do them simultaneously, focus on one, bounce another, focus on that, bounce to another, bounce another, bounce. It's just not working for me. I can't. I need to get my head sorted out elsewhere, and I've got other things as well I'd want to concentrate on, making sure I try and go about things right to see them to their conclusion. And as well, and yeah, I sort of thought, well, I've got to make a choice, and this is the one I choose to get. Because, number one reason for it, and it is the most important one, is this one gets me out and it gets me meeting new people and making connections in the real world, as the young people would say, touching grass. As you've seen today, as at Cosby, Newark, Duxford, East Kirkby, Coventry, which is half an hour drive from here to get to the Middledore Museum. Shuttleworth in Old Warden, it's going to take me to Yeovilton down in Somerset. It can take me to Bovington in Dorset. It can take me to Portsmouth, down Hampshire way. Southampton, London, Gloucestershire. It is all over the place. I can go and find military history, not just aviation. Obviously, my specialist subject is aviation. I take an interest in these without knowing an awful great deal. These tanks, targets, I believe they're called. No, joking. But yes, and that would be good. Not doing the trains does give me opportunity to save and perhaps do things like go to the equivalent of Flying Legends in France, which the name escapes me now. But yeah, so that'd be something great to do. Actually go there, or go to some of the battlefields there as well. So yes, so apologies that you follow, but hopefully, most of us seem to be into most things mechanical anyway, so hopefully there's something of interest for you anyway. So yes, live streams. There are some games I can play. There was a game that was very much known as Tanks, I believe, by everyone at War Thunder to the rest of us. I can play a bit of Tanks on stream. That's not a problem. I can play as a game called B-17 the Mighty Eighth. They're actually working on a new version of now, but I don't mind. We can run a campaign on that, see how that goes. We get to plan the missions out. There's different ways of playing that game. You can fly the aircraft and everything like that. I enjoy doing the grand planning and choosing the missions. Sometimes I do it as a Bomber Commander cosplay, but obviously, with that one we must be targeting factories and things like that. There's no area bombing of cities, so again, that's probably a good thing for streams, because it avoids any vulgarity, any unnecessariness down below. And obviously there'll be the kit builds. Now, I've decided, and I alluded to this if anyone has watched the Beaver stream, I'm going to prime things live. So rather than, okay, that's as far as I got, you stop the stream now, or using the paint on primer, I'm going to go and spray them. Now, it does mean obviously there'll be a be right back screen before I continue, and I just realised I forgot to put the splash screen at the beginning of this. Oh, well, it's got to be raw up there. Tell you what, let's have it quickly, shall we? Let's have it quickly now. Let's do it now. Well, we're only 24 minutes in. There we are. Even had a chance to have a drink while you watch that. So yes, And also, yeah, so I'll be going away to do that, just so that it's done. It's shown the same respect I'd show the rest of my kits, and you know, it really would allow me to get on now. So when that's drying, so yes, we're going to be getting a beaver wet on. Not only going to be fiddling with the beaver, we're going to be getting a beaver wet on with paint. We're going to make it spray. I'm going to spray on it. Yeah, yeah. Um, that was so funny last Wednesday. I loved that. So yeah, so whilst I'm not doing that, um, waiting for things to dry on that, I will bring in other projects, but they will be work in progresses already. So I haven't finished the Lancaster by then. This is obviously this coming Wednesday. Then it'll be the Lancaster I'll be doing bits too. If you know, it could be the Fuga, it could be all sorts. There's a lot of very cool kits around here that need finishing. I obviously gave you that list earlier before I start new ones. But what's one of the advantages about putting away the trains is that whole baseboard that was. I've already contacted Severn Valley. For those of you who know, I was going to display a letter at Severn Valley. I've already contacted them. So the whole of this, that's fine with them. You know, the whole of this can now become display area for aircraft before I get shelving up, which is really cool to give me extra space to store these things. So yeah, I mean that's essentially it. I mean, I say I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm okay. I've got prospects with life that maybe that I hadn't had, and that's why I kind of want to follow through to its conclusion a bit. Find out what the lay of the land is. It could be really good. Either way, it's going to be good, I suppose. One's better than the other, but yeah, we'll see. Not something I've attempted to dabble with for a little while, so yeah, we'll see how this one works out in what regard. But yes, as far as the channel is concerned, there's a lot of mod making to come, and all sorts of subjects. Not saying not just aviation, or they've got the Titanic there. I've got submarines, I've got warships, battleships, that sort of thing to do. I've got some tanks to do. In fact, I believe Joel, you chose the FT-17 to be done. So once I've cleared a few of these projects out of the way, the FT-17 will be a stream project, I think, because I think that'd be a really fun one to do. Something different. It gets a dart around my base. We could really make something of that. And obviously the flight sim streams will still be a thing as well, and the videos from flight sim will be a thing. So yes, in fact, the next one of those. So I might do a model kit one, and then alternate it with a game, week to week, just to mix up a bit. So in fact, let's try. Let's see how that works out. So this week will be the Beaver. Next week we're going to do Flight Sim. And Anthony, if you're watching, and you're still watching at this point, then we'll do the flights over Toledo, like we talked about the Christmas period. So we'll do that. That was we also spoke about it in the stream itself. So I take you don't mind me saying that. So yes, I don't know. I suppose potential visits. Yes. So the first potential one is a trip to see the Shackleton at Coventry Airport doing an engine run. It's not going to taxi anyway, it's just doing an engine run. But 4 Rolls-Royce Griffins, the sound of that should be amazing. There is already a video with an engine run from it on here. You can go and check that out. There's a potential, there are still seats available, unless they all sell because of this video, for sitting inside it. I just want to find out from Greg if he wants to do that or not, if he's going to go for that option himself or not. So it can either be from inside the aeroplane, which would be really cool. I'm half tempted just to book that myself anyway. I'm very close to just doing it. Just because because it's going to Yorkshire at some point soon. It's not going to be around in Coventry forever. So just while it's on my doorstep, so to speak. I did spot it as I approached the Emmys. I saw it in the Nimrod together. So yeah, some chance to have a look at the Nimrod as well. Then a trip around Minden Air Museum again. So I won't do any filming in the Air Museum because there's no need to. There's a video literally went up this week, didn't it? Well, last week. So yeah. So that's the most thing. And obviously the rest of it's just going to be whatever air shows and that, and also the trip to the Fleet Air Arm Museum because tickets are good for a year. I can revisit anytime. So yeah. With that, I will end it there. We are at a good point here. We are skirting a small market town in Cambridgeshire, as Greg would say. This is wittering. So I will stop it there because I guess I've told you everything. So yeah, sorry for disappointing you. Like I said, this is a selfish channel. I do what is best. The title's not going to change. At one point I would have made a whole new channel for this because of the whole theme change or the theme specialization change, but I don't think there's any need to really. A lot of you found me here, and yeah, I just hope you enjoy and follow on still. If not, then take care, be safe in your lives, and yeah, hope you find other channels that can substitute whatever it was that I was given that you're going to miss from here on. Yeah. So to all of you though, do take care, stay safe, be well, and I shall see you all. If not before Wednesday, I was thinking about doing another couple of. I've got those other 2 kits to do the inbox looks, so I could do those before going to bed. I'm not feeling that tired at the minute, so yeah, I might do those. All right, bye. Oh, if you know, you know.